We are back on Morning Line. Our guest with us this morning, Dr. Calvin Smith from Meharry. It's a pleasure having him on. We're going to talk more about monkeypox, but I want to get this call from Linda, who waded through. I'm not sure if she has a COVID or monkeypox question. Good morning, Linda.
Well, it's not one of those.
Oh, okay.
But first of all, happy birthday last week.
Thank you.
And also, I've got a jar of turnip green juice or pot liquor in the refrigerator that I got salvaged before I put some hog jowl in it. Okay.
Okay. We've talked about that before. It's good. All right.
Okay, now then, my question is, I have a neighbor that's 88 years old, and she has got a pretty bad case of shingles.
All right.
And she is not very versed on it, and I'm having difficulty trying to tell her she doesn't need to be around people as long as she's got these blisters. What can I say to her to help her understand that she doesn't need to be around people? She's got it on her face.
Oh, poor
She
thing.
needs to keep it out of her eyes.
Yeah.
And her chin and her neck and down her side.
Oh, I wouldn't even think if she's got that, it's so painful she wouldn't want to be out. First of all, I did not know. Now, I know shingles comes and is associated with chickenpox virus.
Yeah.
Is it contagious then? If you and I had shingles, or if you had shingles and I'm here and you've got wounds, is there some way I can get it from you?
Very, very contagious.
It is?
Very
I
contagious.
didn't know that way. I thought it just came from the virus.
Very, very contagious.
So meaning, all right, so
if you've had chickenpox, okay, what happens is the chickenpox virus goes into one of the nerve cells in your back, goes on vacation for a little while, and when your immune system is maybe a little bit low, or you might be under some stress, or just decides it wants to come back and resurface, it comes back and resurfaces. When it does that, and these blisters are open, this is prime time for people, and not just from touching the blisters and everything like that, but from droplets, from coughing, from sneezing, things like that. So the chickenpox is, and shingles, as it were, because shingles is just a reactivation of chickenpox. Okay. Very, very, very contagious.
But when you have shingles, I heard it just hurts incredibly. They're very painful, these blisters. When I had chickenpox, I just itched. I shook it off.
Yeah, so you're right. The chickenpox is not nearly as painful. I think a lot of it has to do with the nerve endings, because like with just shingles, I don't just think, based on studies.
Sure.
Based on the nerve root, and if you notice with shingles, it pretty much follows the distribution of a nerve root. Okay. So, for instance, she was talking about, like, it was on her face and under her chin. There are three different branches of what we call the trigeminal nerve. Yeah. And any one of those three can be involved. Okay. And if it involves the eye, that's a medical emergency. Yeah. So, based on what she's saying, it looks like she may have avoided. It looks like it was more mandibular than anything else, but still, I mean, she definitely needs to isolate.
Just tell her you have to stay away from people.
Yes, until those blisters scab over, until every last blister scabs over. Now, once those blisters scab over, we know with certainty that it's pretty less likely to become contagious.
I hear that, and it just pushes me more to go get that vaccine. Yeah. I'm going to go get it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've never had shingles in my family. I've had chickenpox. I just don't want to risk it. So if I get the vaccine, I'm good.
If you get the vaccine, you're pretty good. You're pretty good. I mean, nothing's certain.
I know nothing's 100%.
But you have a pretty stressful. I mean, you have a nice job, Nick. But you deal with some people that stress you out.
Sure, absolutely. Well, yeah, it's worth getting it. Well, I mean, she's 88, and I feel for her. I don't know that if you have it all over your body and in that kind of pain, you want to be around that many people. But yeah, Linda, just let her know. If you care about the people around you, you should try to keep yourself away, because, as you just heard him say, she needs to understand it's very contagious. She doesn't want to give it to someone else. Let's go to Wilma. Wilma, good morning. Hi, Wilma.
Hey, y'all. I've got two questions for you, doctor, and I'm going to give you the questions and I'm going to hang up. Okay. The first one is, I was required in 1979 to get a smallpox vaccine. Now, I had gotten one back in the 50s, but, I was required. And I heard that was about the last year that, they were giving smallpox vaccine. Yeah. One, will that protect me in any form from the monkeypox virus? And the second one is, somebody that has to rely on handrails in public places or touching things to support themselves to go up and down steps or whatnot, are they running a high risk of contracting the monkeypox because they have to touch these surfaces? I'll hang up now. Thank you.
Gosh, Those are two questions I wanted to ask. Those are excellent, Wilma.
Yeah.
All right, smallpox. I still remember. I still have, if you look very closely, the scar from it when I was born. Now, that was they've stopped giving smallpox vaccines,
Correct.
haven't they?
We've eradicated it.
Okay, they've eradicated it. But I got a vaccine. Did you get one, or were you too young?
No, I was too young.
So will our smallpox vaccine loan any protection against monkeypox, which they say could be in the same realm as smallpox, not as deadly, of course?
So they're in the same kind of family in terms of viruses, like the orthopoxes. Okay.
It's been that much time.
Yeah, I doubt that there's going to be a whole lot of. There's enough differences between monkeypox and smallpox such that I don't think that it will lend a lot of protection.
Okay, I wondered the same thing, Wilma. As far as touching these, now we talked about monkeypox being contagious.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got it and you're walking on a handrail and then you lift your hand up after you've touched it, and then my hand goes on there. Now, just because it's on the palm of my hand, provided I don't put my hand in my mouth, and I do by my nails sometimes, or rub my eye, if I go wash my hands later, I'm going to be okay, or can it just go right through an uncut skin on my flesh?
No, if your skin's intact, it generally, here's the thing, like contact is one of the things, but we tend to suspect that the contact has to involve mucous membranes or something like that.
For monkeypox, okay.
Yeah,
or any
monkeypox
of these,
or any of these things. So, I would say if you were to touch something and wash your hands pretty quickly, not touch your face, not touch an area that has mucous membranes nearby, then you should be okay, But if you, most of us are not cognizant enough to really think that way. Especially not, like in the early days of COVID, we were kind of, at least for me, I was pretty obsessed with it. And then,
me too.
As time went by,
your guard drops.
My guard dropped. You know what I mean? And so I think that, washing your hands frequently, let's just put this out here, can help decrease the spread of things tremendously.
Yes, again, it's not just monkeypox, it's COVID, it's anything, it's flu. Everyone would be at risk if you're just constantly touching, putting your hands in your mouth or your eyes. So just because you're not always, I know washing hands with warm soap and water is the best way to go, but if you're out and about at the mall and you're going up and down the escalator, you don't have, you're not going to run always to the bathroom every second. Do those pocket little hand sanitizers help?
Absolutely. Hand sanitizers, so the alcohol, there are very few things that the alcohol is not effective for. You think about things like spores, botulinum toxin, things like that. Those are the things that are not really as affected by the hand sanitizer wipes or the gel hand sanitizers. So if you can get to a hand sanitizer, and what I do, like when I'm at the mall and people look at me crazy, especially when I go down to Franklin, like I use those hand sanitizers, I still wear my mask, use my hand sanitizers, you know what I mean? And like whenever I'm touching any type of surface, I don't take it for granted. I'm just going to go ahead and use the hand sanitizers, and then I keep some lotion in my car, keep my hands lotion.
I do the same thing. Got a lotion in the car. It is interesting, though. It's far less frequent you see individuals wearing masks now. I have a mask, and I wear it sometimes, but a lot of times I don't. You just don't see as many. But it's just the way it is. And maybe you don't need it as much as you did. But still, if you want to play it safe,
wear a mask.
Look, he's had it, and he says if keeping a mask on helps you not get it again, you don't want it again.
No, I don't.
Let's go to Jill. Jill, good morning. Hi, Jill.
Morning.
Morning. What's on your mind?
I have actually, my mom's sitting here with me.
Okay.
She has had all her shots, all the boosters. And 2 weeks ago, she contracted COVID. She got Paxlovid, or however you say that drug, and took it. She finished it last Monday. She went and got tested last Wednesday at a pharmacy. It came back negative. Just to be sure, we went and tested last Saturday. It came back positive. We went to another pharmacy and got tested. It came back positive. We're waiting to find out. She went somewhere yesterday and got tested. We're still waiting to get those results.
Does she still have some symptoms?
She does still have congestion.
Okay.
And it's not as bad as it was, but it's still there.
Interesting.
And she was taking Sudafed last week, and then the pharmacist told her, because she has a heart condition, that she probably shouldn't take that. So she's been taking Mucinex for like the last 2 days or so.
Okay. Well, okay, let's talk about this. You touched on earlier, I mean, the president himself had a bounce back. It's possible she got better and it bounced back. What does that mean?
Yeah, so Not very well understood, but the bounce back viremia is what we're talking about. And so the Paxlovid is designed to decrease the symptoms and make life a little bit more manageable while you have COVID, and particularly for those that are at high risk, to keep them from going to the hospital, keep them from having to be intubated, things of that nature. So it sounds like the Paxlovid did what it was supposed to do. The rebound viremia, so when a positive test means that there are some evidence of the DNA of the virus still floating around there. And so, there may be, and the mild symptomatic nature of it means that it may still be present. So what I'm thinking is happening, and this is just my own speculation, not from anything else, is that people are, it's reducing the symptoms, but it lengthening the stay, so to speak, of the virus, and causing people to have the virus for maybe a little bit longer, and making it such that they are going to have a mild case, but it's not going to be it's not going to cause them to have life-threatening problems. Okay. That was one of the things, to be honest with you, that I was somewhat concerned about in terms of, like, how I was managing my I was on Mucinex, I was on Theraflu, all those kind of things, and I was able to kind of bring my temperature down to a manageable degree. It's a crapshoot, and I'm sorry that she's still having to deal with the symptoms, but it sounds like they're mild enough that and it sounds like she probably had a couple of risk factors that the gamble involved in taking that is probably still worth it. Okay, and it may just take some time, but she just needs to keep going and being checked and go for a period of time where you get negatives. But she's probably one of those people that will have to go based on symptoms. So if her symptoms have waned for about 72 hours or so, then even if she's still shedding, she's probably still good. Okay, so maybe wait. Maybe don't keep going and getting a test every day. If she still has the symptoms, wait a bit and just assume she has it until those symptoms decline, and then go and see how that goes. Correct. But as we've said, there are sometimes people who feel perfectly fine that test positive. Everyone's different. And so they're really monitoring it. So she should be fine. And I don't want to underestimate. I mean, I'm sure I'm 1,000% positive that the Paxlovid has the effect of decreasing the severity of symptoms. What's the other drug you said that there's out there that you can take, or did you say it's just Paxlovid? The only one that so there were others in the earlier phases that I've kind of like. But that's the more common one now. Paxlovid is the one that is being recommended by most practitioners. Gotcha. Let's take a call. You're getting a lot of calls today, my friend. This is good. Well, there's a lot of interest. We haven't done this with you in a while. We should do it more often. Let's go to Randy. Randy, good morning. Hi, Randy.
How you doing?
Hey, how can we help you?
My question is, when trying on clothing at a department store, how contagious is would that be in receiving the monkeypox?
If you're trying on clothing, maybe that you feel someone else has tried on before you?
Yes.
Something like that. Okay, well, I mean, that's pretty, I think, unique situation. But again, look, I'll go and I'll like these pants I have. All right, I tried them on before I bought them, and I went to a department store. I didn't order them online, and it's possible someone had tried them on before me, I suppose. What do you think? Let's talk about. So right now the cases are so low. They're not. We are at a point where we're seeing spread to an extent that we've not seen before. So that's the concern, okay? But we're not seeing the numbers of monkeypox nearly to the extent now where we need to worry about maybe, not trying on clothes and things of that nature. However, if it gets to that point, then that, yes, would be one of the things. So be careful. You have to consider, and so trying on clothes and things like that is one of those kind of gray areas, because you don't know who tried on those clothes before you, right? So, it's like, the lottery. I spent a couple of bucks on that $1 billion lottery ticket. I didn't get it. You know what I mean? Somebody did. The odds are a little bit better right now. In terms of what the numbers are looking like. But I would say it's still safe to try on clothes. Now, if you know someone, and this is where we're at a point right now with monkeypox where we need to be very, very careful in that if you know someone who potentially could have it, they've had fevers, they've had these open sores, or not open sores, but these umbilicated sores, like dots, the little dots that have a hole in them, okay? If they usually form in clusters, they usually have a fever, things like that, okay? If you know somebody that has those kind of symptoms, then I would
probably steer clear of anything that they touch.
Whether they're sitting on a couch, whatever it is. By the way, do they know, I guess we talked about this with COVID, and I don't know if it's changed. How long would a COVID virus last exposed on this counter? How long would a monkeypox virus exposed on here? Just see, like if you touched it, how long before it died, or if an hour later my hand goes there, could it pick it up?
What we do know is that the monkeypox is much more resilient on surfaces, on
so it can last a little longer.
Lasts much longer than COVID.
Now, what if it's in direct sunlight, stuff like that? Who knows? I don't know.
I don't think that sunlight really affects it that much.
So are we talking it lasts there for minutes, hours, days?
Days.
Days? It can sit there for days. COVID not as long, right?
COVID not as long. COVID's not as hardy, even though it has that protective coat around it. The way that monkeypox transmits, it relies on these fomites, on things that transmit disease. So clothing, ties, towels, sheets, things of that nature. So, cleanliness is going to be a concern. Making sure that you are washing, between guests. If you have guests in your home, washing very, very, very thoroughly, washing your sheets, washing your maybe taking your bedspreads and such in for dry cleaning, things like that, to try to prevent that spread. Or maybe even steaming. Steaming might have a bit of an effect as well, but it's not quite as reliable as, a hot wash, a chemical dry clean that really gets to the core of breaking down these
kind of
viruses.
Makes you want to live in a bubble. Well, maybe not. Listen, we'll take a break on that note. When we come back, our final segment, we had Cindy on the line. We may have just lost her. If she wants to call back, we'll take her and Robert. If not, we've got a few more things to touch bases with the good doctor in our final segment right after this. Stay with us.